Good Wednesday afternoon, everybody. Meteorologist Greg Majewski back with you here in the North Georgia Majestic Weather Studios with your weather update here on your August the 26th, 2026. Definitely warmer and definitely feeling a little more humidity in the air, and we've got a few isolated showers out there. A lot of activity over in Alabama, though, that might sneak in here for this evening before that activity dies down, and we're definitely going to see a couple days of wetter weather. But then we'll dry out going into the weekend, and boy, things start to heat up again going into next week. Now, before we get going in here on this full report, if you're new here to our YouTube channel and you live anywhere across North Georgia, let me quickly introduce myself as your personal weatherman on a mission to turn this into a professional 24-hour weather channel, and it's all about subscribers. I sure could use your help. Doesn't cost you anything. All you got to do is subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit that notification bell so you're alerted on all weather updates, as well as being alerted whenever we do exclusive live severe weather coverage here on the channel. All right, let's go and get into today's report, shall we? As we take a live look there in Dahlonega, we're looking at some clouds that bubbled up here for this afternoon. Definitely a little more partly sunny out there for today, thanks to the increased humidity and the dew point slowly coming up. Seeing a little more sunshine here in Braselton, Georgia, currently sitting at 92 degrees outside my backyard, and things not looking too bad out there. Now, a quick look update at the tropics. We've been watching this area of disturbed weather still out in the tropics, and it's not moving into a great environment, folks. Again, the El Niño's influence is definitely having an impact now. They've downgraded this to about a 60% chance for development, so whether we get Dolly to actually form or not remains to be seen, but we'll continue to monitor out there to see if anything comes into as far as development is concerned. Local radar, pretty quiet out there. Again, we were expecting just some minor activity, seeing some little showers here and there. And again, we were looking at things kind of firing up a little bit later in the day. But over into Alabama, boy, they're getting a lot of stuff over there. And this stuff is moving toward the east. So this might sneak into some of these western counties over here before this stuff kind of dies down here for tonight. As these showers and storms, they're not severe, but they're definitely got a little kick to them. As you're seeing these clusters of storms kind of got fired up there along this boundary, rolling in out of Tennessee, and may sneak into Georgia before things begin to settle on down. Now, looking at the watches and warnings, you see just special weather statements with all this storm activity here as this kind of moves into this way. So, again, you guys over here in the western counties, just pay attention to this as we go for the next several hours. Looking at your temperatures out there this afternoon, again, very warm out there. Temperatures in around 90 degrees or so. And believe it or not, next week, it could get even hotter. And right before we go into Labor Day weekend, it looks like things are going to be a little bit steamy there. And there's where that active weather is for this afternoon. You see where that marginal risk for severe weather is in yellow. That's at level 2, slight risk over into areas of Arkansas and Mississippi. Now, going in for tomorrow, just a general threat right now, but that's subject to change. We'll see what happens going in for tomorrow. And they do have a marginal risk for a big part of North Georgia going into Friday. So something that we get to monitor as we wrap up the work week. As far as the heavy rain threat, that is definitely going to be on the increase, especially going in for tomorrow. Get localized, not then widespread here, folks, especially when we're talking about summertime thunderstorms. But as we go in for your Thursday, again, you see the green there across the area. So maybe some individual pockets of some heavy rains. It was showing some yellow there earlier, but they've backed off that just a bit. And then going into Friday, again, seeing a lot of North Georgia still covered. And then as we go into Saturday and Sunday, things will begin to dry out as the frontal system settles to the south. And looks like things will begin to dry out going into next week. And then as we dry out next week, they're definitely going to be heating up. So let's take a look at that model data here as we kind of go through what's going to be happening here going over the next few days as we kind of go into the weekend. So things will begin to settle down here for tonight. I will say this much. These storms here are kind of racing to the southward. That's not where those storms are currently sitting. So we'll see what happens with this going in for tomorrow. So we get some storms to fire up here going into the afternoon. We'll zoom in a little bit closer here. As you can go into your Thursday, seeing those scattered storms around there. There'll be some pretty good downpours with some of this. And then as we go into your Friday, also seeing some pretty good coverage there with some showers and storms there into the afternoon. So mostly scattered showers and storms, some locally heavy rains. And then as we go into Saturday, looks like we get maybe just a few isolated storms there on Saturday as well. And then the trend going next week becomes pretty isolated, and things really do begin to heat up at that point. So let's take a look at the rainfall potential totals here. Again, some locally heavy rains, depending on where the storms get fired up. You see the 2.25, for example, near Jasper. So if you get up underneath one of those storms, you get pretty good gully washer with these, but nothing that's going to be widespread. So thus that area we just showed you there with the green there showing some localized areas that have potential heavy rain with this. All right, so looking at the forecast maps here as we wrap up Wednesday and go into into the upcoming week. See that frontal system kind of settling down to the south here. Thus, you saw that green kind of moving its way downward. I think this is the result of this kind of pushing down to the south. It's going to kind of stall once again and kind of wash itself out. And then we'll see, again, a little bit of heating up going into next week. So as we go ahead and take a look at the forecast here for tomorrow, going 88-70, 50% chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms there in the Gainesville area. And that's, I think, I'll pretty much hold for just about everybody for tomorrow. Morning lows definitely coming up as a response to the increased humidity and dew points coming up. So a lot more 70s out there, still some 60s up into the mountains. And then as we go into your afternoon here, again, we'll see temperatures generally in the 80s with scattered showers and thunderstorms, a few 90s here and there, but definitely a bit steamy there for the afternoon. How about the regional forecast? Again, depending on where those storms get fired up, you see that where it's kind of keeping the temperatures down there here and there, but definitely hotter out here in Arkansas, but not as hot as it has been. They've been popping 100 degrees out there just about every day, so things are looking a little bit better there at least. All right, how about the rest of the 7-day forecast? Again, get the high rain chance there on Friday. We'll break it down to about 40% for the weekend. And then we're kind of drying things out and heating things up. Yeah, look at that by Wednesday next week, getting up to 93. When you consider in Gainesville, the normal high is supposed to be 85. Yeah, we're definitely seeing above normal temperatures. That'll be, I think, probably linger right into heading into Labor Day weekend, unfortunately, with some hot and steamy weather. Now, with the threat of thunderstorms, you got some storms in Alabama you can watch tonight or some more for tomorrow. Why don't you go ahead and go to the Apple Store or Google Play, depending on what phone device you use there, and download our free weather app. Doesn't cost you a dime. Just put in North Georgia Majestic weather. Great weather app's going to alert you when rain's approaching your area, lightning nearby, a future cast. It's got satellite imagery, power outage map. It's a great app. Go ahead and download this. Brought to you by our weather app sponsor, Roof It Forward out of Woodstock, Georgia. If you're in need of a good quality roof, they'll give you great customer service, quality craftsmanship, and they give a portion back to local children's charity. And we do thank them for being our weather app sponsor. So again, looks like we're in store for some storms back in here once again. Of course, with summertime heat, we always got to be, mindful of a potential isolated severe thunderstorm or a strong storm or two. So we'll watch that closely tonight and again going in for the next couple of days. But one thing's certain, things are definitely going to stay hot and above normal going into next week. I know folks are saying, "Hey, I'm ready for some fall cool down." Not just yet. I am seeing some indications up in Canada, things beginning to change going into September. But we may not see the benefit from that until probably later in the month, probably after the 15th. So anyway, that's the way it's looking right now. Again, appreciate you guys checking us out here on our channel. Please help us grow as we're trying to grow to 16,000. So hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit that notification bell so you're alerted on all our weather updates. All right, that'll do it for today. Y'all be good, stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow. We're almost through the work week. You guys take it easy and have a great night. Bye-bye.